Well, Jasmine Crockett was feeling pretty confident.
But the vast majority of them are white men. That's why you have to parade someone who has the name Dr. King attached to them so that people can be confused.
And while she spent her entire time framing Republicans as racists once again, she even dragged Charlie Kirk into the conversation, but the response came quickly from Wesley Hunt, who then exposed her entire narrative.
It's why I am sitting here today being judged not by the color of my skin, by the content of my character from a white majority district in Houston, Texas, and I've been black for my entire life.
And today, we're breaking it all down. So here we go.
I hate that we have spent this much time, on SPLC and we've not addressed the elephant in the room, the literal elephant in the room. The vast majority of the people on that side of the aisle, and for those of you that are at home, let me tell you, when I say that side of the aisle, I'm talking about the Republicans, the ones that brought this hearing. And again, you've heard that this is not the first hearing, but the vast majority of them are white men. White men are lecturing people of color because the vast majority, actually, any semblance of diversity comes from this side of the aisle. You want to tell people of color who is fighting for who? People of color do not feel comfortable or welcomed within your party. That's why you have to parade someone who has the name Dr. King attached to them so that people can be confused, because I have been reading the comments online and people are like, who is this Dr. King? Because you want them to believe that somehow she espouses.
It's beyond me how progressives decided using the label white men was supposed to be an insult, but somehow that's where we are. Beyond that, let me tell you about the witness Jasmine sought to discredit. Dr. Alveda King. She is MLK Jr.'s niece, the daughter of a civil rights activist, and a former member of the Georgia House of Representatives. Politically, she's landed on a pretty different side of the spectrum than the King family. And she's been criticizing things like identity politics, DEI programs, and the SPLC long before it became this mainstream issue, which is exactly why race baiters like Jasmine, they go after her. Alveda challenges the entire narrative they're trying to sell, and that makes her difficult to dismiss. But Crockett wasn't done yet, and she decided to drag Charlie Kirk into the hearing next.
Y'all don't seem like y'all even understand what a hate organization is, so I went to Google to help you out. A hate group is an organized group whose beliefs, practices, and primary purpose are centered on advocating malice, hostility, or violence towards people based on their immutable characteristics such as race, religion, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or disability. So I know some of y'all are, caping for Charlie Kirk, so I'm going directly to Miss McCord. Professor, let me put some respect on your name. All right. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Does that sound like a hater or not?
That sounds like a racial stereotype.
Okay, sounds good to me. We made a huge mistake when we passed the Civil Rights Act in the mid-1960s.
That sounds like someone who still adheres to racist views.
Okay, these all just happen to be comments from the fearless leader of Turning Point USA, so I could see where SPLC was going.
What about putting some respect on a dead man's name? The problem is that giving people the full context, that's never really been Jasmine's strong suit. She conveniently left out the fact that Charlie also criticized Jim Crow laws and was making an argument about government overreach and opposition to DEI policies, not defending segregation for God's sakes. Then, like clockwork, she went back to Trump's find people on both sides line about Charlottesville, a story that was debunked a long time ago. But we're not spending any more time on that because you've probably heard enough about Jasmine already. I know I have. Instead, let's get to the good part and see how Wesley Hunt responded, because he completely turned the tables on her.
Fear is the currency of the Democrat Party. Division is their strategy. Outrage is their oxygen. I had a previous colleague that talked about, seeing a black pilot and what that would mean to Charlie Kirk's comments. And it's funny, black pilot here, by the way. I actually went to flight school, West Point graduate, learned how to fly the Apache helicopter, went to flight school in 2005. You see, there was no DEI. We just simply competed with everyone else, and I was selected, fought in combat, went on to fly 55 combat air missions, and nobody gave a damn what I looked like because I got there on merit. Ma'am, you are nodding your head. First of all, thank you for your legacy. Thank you for your family's legacy. What was your uncle's dream, if you don't mind me asking?
Martin Luther King said he had a dream. It was rooted in the American dream, that one day there would be no black power, no white power, only God power and human power. He wanted us to learn to live together as brothers and sisters and not perish as fools. I'm going to yield back to you because I would talk too long.
People like Wesley Hunt, Byron Donalds, John James, and plenty of others are all living proof of what Jasmine was arguing simply doesn't hold up. These are individuals who reached their positions through hard work and talent and merit. Plus, most of them didn't need racially gerrymandered districts just to make it to Congress either, which disproves another Democrat-pushed claim that black people, or really any minority group, need government-mandated representation to succeed politically. What's especially ironic is how often the left involves MLK Jr. while promoting policies that give people preferential treatment based on race and a ton of identity markers. Wesley expanded on this exact point, and he quoted Alveda's uncle in the process to make his case.
And what your uncle was referring to is this: being judged not by the color of your skin, but by the content of your character, and having representation from all people, from all walks of life, on both sides of the party. And I would argue that we are living your uncle's dream. Are
one
we perfect?
blood,
No, we're not.
one race.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm seated before you today as the United States Congressman. My brother, sister, and I all went to West Point. We're all West Point graduates. We all served our country. And I'm here to tell you that I am living that dream every single day. And I am so proud of you and proud of what you stand for, because I know it's not easy. But I'm so glad that people like you are fighting the good fight for the great future of this country, because we are here living Dr. Martin Luther King's dream. It's why I am sitting here today being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character, from a white majority district in Houston, Texas, and I've been black for my entire life. Stop listening to the crap of the left and realize that we are all in one boat, rowing in the same direction because of people like you. We must fight against organizations that want to give a dime to organizations like the KKK
Chairman,
for whatever reason. I get back to the remainder of my time.
This entire hearing centered on the SPLC, and the exchange between Crockett and Hunt, I think, perfectly highlighted why so many people have a problem with the organization. Instead of addressing the substance of the concerns being raised, Jasmine spent much of her time trying to discredit the people making them by playing that race card whenever possible. Wesley completely blew that argument apart and wrapped up by bringing the conversation back to the actual issue at hand. If an organization claims to be fighting hate and extremism, then questions about its funding decisions and partnerships deserve serious answers, not deflections. Keep in mind, they were doing all of this while raking in millions of dollars through private donations. That's not a serious model. It's just a racket. And people are finally starting to notice, thankfully. But let me know in the comments your thoughts on the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, you heard it here at the Dais.